Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine? Out of a DeLorean?
The way I see it, if you're gonna build a time machine into a car, why not do it with some style? Besides...
Very nice. Thank you very much. Now, why don't you make like a tree and get out of here?
It's leave, you idiot. Make like a tree and leave. You sound like a damn fool when you say it wrong.
All right, then, leave! What's your name, dude?
Marty. Eastwood. Clint Eastwood.
What kind of stupid name is that?
Hey everybody, it's time to say goodbye to an incredibly popular franchise, the Back to the Futures. Today we wrap up our retrospective with Back to the Future Part 3. Now I remember seeing this in the theater and really enjoying myself. I actually remember really liking it to the point where I thought it was actually better than the others. And watching it now through the podcast eyes and revisiting it after a few years, I have to take that back and say it's far, far less superior than the other ones.
So that's your review, and that's the podcast over then? Right.
I am. Thank you guys for joining us today. That was Trevor. Thank God no Doctor Who references.
Yeah.
Guys, take care of yourself.
Well, there is time travel, so, you know, and there is the fan theory that Doc Brown eventually becomes Doctor Who. You know, and becomes a Time Lord. But anyway, yeah, I remember this, whenever this was released, I was on holiday with my family in the Isle of Man, and I talked them into all of us going to see it in the cinema there, and it was great. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And my dad, who's not even, never been into the types of films I was into, really enjoyed it too, especially because he liked westerns, so I think he enjoyed the western element, and he thought it was very funny.
Yeah, I mean, if you're into your westerns, this is definitely for you because it has a lot of nod to the Caps, including having some veteran actors in there from westerns, and obviously the old Clint Eastwood line. So it does play, and it does it well. I mean, like all the Back to the Futures do. They're very good at referencing stuff, whether it happened in the past film or they planted a seed for it to come into this film. They're well structured.
Oh yeah, and they all tie up well together.
Yeah, like I mentioned before, a good trilogy you can remove the credits and just watch one long movie.
Yeah,
and that's what Back to the Future has successfully done. That's why it's a successful franchise, and it's it's probably one of my favorites because you can sit back and enjoy and watch all three back to back to back, But if you watch it that way, it'd probably work better. But since we're doing this film at a time, and you're kind of taking a little break in between films, as a standalone film, Back to the Future 3 is missing one major thing, and I do think it's missing the fun chaos we got, especially from the second one. They almost play like fun little thrillers. And this one really doesn't have that, and they add what worsens it, a really bad romance between, obviously we get Claire and Doc.
Yeah. I must admit, even at the time as a kid, I did not like the love story element. For me, when I watch a Back to the Future film, I want to see just Marty and Doc getting into wacky adventures and, Biff running around bullying them and stuff and, all that sort of nonsense. I really, I'm not in it for the love story element. Plus, Mary Steenburgen's character, or Steenburgen is it, her character is pretty annoying, Clara.
Yeah, well, she plays herself. I like Mary Steenburgen. We talked about her with Time After Time.
Yes.
And I do like her. She did a good little film called Dead of Winter with Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
Quite good. You guys should check it out. But let's dig into a lip. In this sequel, the whole team is back. Zemeckis, Spielberg, and the gang.
The whole team. Once again, Crispin Glover is missed.
I'm still talking about that. Can I finish my thing with the cast and all?
Go ahead.
Oh my God, this is what I have to deal with, people. This is what I'm talking about. Wow. As I was really interrupted, the cast returns. We've got Biff and Mad Dog, Buford Mad Dog. I think that's his name, Buford.
Yeah, Buford Mad Dog Tannen.
We got Marty McFly and Seamus, played by the same actor, obviously, Michael J. Fox. We got Doc, Claire, Lorraine, pointless scene, Jennifer. You got to have her at the very end just to wrap things up. And a couple of cameos that are kind of silly, but it was nice to see James Tolkien back as Marshall Strickland this time. Now, they got pretty much the entire cast back. The only one that was missing, I don't know if you guys heard this yet, but I heard it about a minute ago when I was really interrupted.
Get over yourself.
But Crispin Glover is not in it. He's not missed. We made this clear before. I don't think he is because...
He is to me.
You don't need him. Imagine fact, there was no point. There would be no rhyme or reason to have him in this. His story has been told. That was the first one. The second story was about the almanac. And that was between Marty and Biff. So their story's been told. This is pretty much Doc's story, really. Peppered in with some little backstory we'll get about Marty and stuff. But you did not need Crispin Glover in this, so that's why I don't think he's missed.
You could have had Crispin Glover play Seamus McFly. I mean, obviously that's who Marty is, or not Marty, Michael J. Fox is standing in for Crispin Glover, especially in the second one, where he plays, the Marty Jr.
Why would he step in as Seamus McFly? He looks nothing like he would be Marty's relative.
Leah Thompson, they had in, the threw in as well. And, and she's basically no relation to Marty's mother. So, they play around with these things. It appears the McFly, men throughout history marry women that are certainly attracted to women that look exactly like Leah Thompson,
I was waiting for Howard the Duck to show up. No, but it's... you had to have her in there.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. And they don't put her in enough to really wreck it. But
in the last podcast we did, the Back to the Future 2 one, I was saying about the book. It was like the tie-in book for the films. They do address it in the book. They say, it doesn't really make sense, but we had to have Leah Thompson in it, So, fair enough.
You did, and I'm okay with that. Matter of fact, she would be best if you didn't have her.
Yeah.
And... whether it's, like I said, it's a cameo role. Really bad Irish accents. But I think it's deliberate.
Yeah, I'm Irish,
Oh, God, Seamus.
Yeah.
So this one, let's see, the first one made $384 million worldwide. The second one made $333 million worldwide. And this one made $245 million.
Yeah.
Wasn't as successful, but still well received. Still very good reviews. However, I mentioned in the last podcast, I'm still going to hold by it. That trailer they show at the end of part 2 takes way too much away from this film because there's very little action in this film, like I mentioned in the beginning there, and the trailer pretty much gives the whole film away. So I don't know why they were thinking, what marketing exec genius, what producer, which would be Spielberg at this point, and Bob Gale, why would you decide to put a trailer of this film at the end of the second one? It doesn't make any sense.
On a personal level, the trailer doesn't bother me at all, but I get from a sort of mainstream audience point of view, maybe it did affect it, possibly, who knows?
Well, as we left Marty, he's got to get back to 1855. No,
1885.
1885 to go save the Doc.
Yeah,
because he finds out Doc Brown is going to die in a few days. I never get. You mentioned this a little bit with one of the part 1. I mean, you got a time machine. You could at least give yourself a little leeway and give yourself a week or two.
Yeah.
Why do you got to go back like, oh my God, I'm going to go back just a couple of days before it all happens?
Yeah, they do.
You're
leave
probably
these
going to
things
need
very
more a
tight
couple
for
days.
the sake of the plot, you know.
Yeah, I suppose. I do like when they are in the drive-through.
Yes.
And they're gonna go for the drive-through, and obviously he goes. It's a old Western kind of drive-through, and you got the painting of all the Indians.
Yeah.
Near the near the screen, and he goes, "I'm gonna crash through that wall. I'm gonna hit the Indians." He's like, "No, no, the car will be at 88 miles
You're
an hour."
not thinking fourth dimensionally, Marty.
And when he goes through, when the DeLorean goes through time, he runs into a bunch of Indians.
Real Indians, yeah.
I do like that intro going into the West. I do find it every time he runs into a family member. We notice this. He always gets hurt first.
Yeah.
He always gets gets unconscious.
I had this terrible dream, Mom.
Yeah, same line. And that's probably why he needed Leah Thompson back, because he needed the mom line.
Yeah. Well, you're safe and sound back on the McFly farm.
Yeah, the Irish accents were pretty bad. Again, I think they're playing for camp. I don't think they were trying to.
Yeah,
get
it's all
an Oscar
tongue in cheek.
here.
It's not.
It's all tongue in cheek, so we can have a good laugh at it. We're laughing with it, not at it.
Yeah.
I do believe that. I don't know. I just felt. I don't know. I don't know. I just felt.
As discussed,
it was kind of.
As discussed, the love story element, while it's fair enough to give Christopher Lloyd more to do and his character sort of more of an arc, fair enough. But the Clara character is pretty bland, and she's too nice. She's no flaws. She's just like super duper nice, and And I know that they addressed that Marty had no flaws in the first one. They addressed that in a way in the second one. But with Clara, she is just like super nice, and she just comes across as super annoying,
Yeah, we haven't really been introduced to her yet, but yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, there's some flaws coming up with that storyline, and we'll certainly dive into it. Like I said, we're not going to really pick on Back to the Future and its time elements and all that crap, but there's one big one here that doesn't make any sense. And if any of our listeners can can give us an answer to what I'm gonna bring up later, I'd greatly appreciate it, because it does confuse me. I do like the whole thing is based around the big ceremony of the building of the clock.
Yes, ties in with the clock. Yeah.
Yeah, I do like that. The clock has always been a character itself.
Yeah.
Throughout the franchise. So, and I do like you have Strickland. He's the marshal of the town. This one he's not a douche. He's actually pretty cool character. He just holds peace and all how you have to check in all guns and
tough nut.
Go into the town. He's cracking down on all the bad guys, and he has some good words with Buford.
Yeah,
Tannen. Bulldog. We'll call him Bulldog.
Yeah, Mad Dog.
Mad Dog. Yes, Mad Dog. That's right. And again, Scene Stealer is played by Thomas Wilson. Biff, Griff, and Buford. He again steals the show when he's on it, at least, and he's got a pretty good part in this one. They gave him a pretty good part. Now the scene where he goes into the bar and he meets Buford for the first time, and I do like the line where he's like, "What's your name?" Eastwood, Clint Eastwood. He was, "What kind of a name is that?" And
yeah,
I know they had to ask Clint Eastwood his permission.
Yeah, they give him thanks in the end credits.
Yeah, and I guess Clint said I'd be honored.
Yeah, and there's actually a good line later on whenever Marty is going to basically back out of the duel with Biff, and the guys in the bar going, if you don't go out and fight him, basically everyone is going to say that Clint Eastwood is the biggest yellow belly in the West.
I do like how they switch chicken to yellow belly.
Yeah,
because that's kind of how they talk back then.
Exactly. I was actually looking out for that as well, and they wouldn't have used the word chicken, so at least that's that's accurate.
Well, I do have one word I don't get that they use. Now I think they just do it because it's Biff Griff Buford. He uses the word dude.
Yes. Is it
Quite a
dude?
bit.
Is it? I was sort of listening. Is it definitely dude?
Yeah. I never got that. Dude.
Yeah.
That's a 60s California thing.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. To be honest, you would have to be some sort of historian, and we would have to look that up to confirm it. But yeah,
There you go. Any historians out there? When was dude
invented.
first created?
Yeah,
I guarantee it wasn't 1885. Yeah, I do like the fact when he wakes up and they find out where Marty got his name from.
yes,
I thought that was
Their
kind of
baby?
nice. He's named after Seamus's brother who passed.
Oh, sorry, right, yes. But what do you call the baby again? The first McFly born in America?
William?
Oh, it's I'm not too sure. Yes,
William is his first great-grandfather, first McFly born in America.
that's right. And it was the brother, but the brother was also shot because he was like Marty in that he wouldn't back down. He was a
See, I like that.
yes,
And that's what this film does well. It ties everything in.
yeah,
So little things. Why is he so pissed? Why is he, chicken? Why is he always, challenging people? Now we're getting this little history
yeah.
of where he gets it from, and I do like that. So it works on that kind of level. Now when he takes the time machine back there, we find out. I thought the whole car ran on junk food and crap.
No, that's
he
the
said
time
no.
travel element of it.
He goes, that's just for the time travel element. That's for the flux capacitor.
Yeah.
You still need gas. So they don't know what to do here. So they decide, obviously, they're going to use the train. What you always think, if Doc Brown could come up with all these little elements to put in the fuel thing,
Yes.
to make the train go faster, these little bombs,
Yeah.
you figured he'd figure something to throw in the chuck in the DeLorean.
But then the film would be over in like 10 minutes as soon as Marty got back to 1885.
The end.
Yep.
So he's got to go back because so the scene where they first meet Clara, all right, and they save her life from because the horse and carriage get scared.
Yeah. It's about to go over the ravine.
They're gonna go over the ravine, and Doc saves her, and that's where they kind of fall in love. And you find out that that place was named Claire Ravine because
Clayton
of her
Ravine.
death. What?
Clayton Ravine.
No, but it was named for her.
Yes, Clayton Ravine. Clara Clayton.
Oh, Clara Clayton? Okay, I didn't know the last name. So, Clayton Ravine, right? We got that. We're all together here, right?
Yep.
So, it's named after she dies.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, when Marty got the letter in 1955 from Doc from Western Union with the picture of him by the clock,
yeah.
we find out when he goes to the library or something, I can't remember. He goes to the library, I believe. I can't remember here. And he looks up Doc, and he sees that Doc Brown's dead.
Mm-hmm.
He's shot. We find out he's been shot by Buford, right? But on the gravestone, it says, "For my beloved wife, Claire."
Yeah.
Right? Well, why would he have met her?
Yeah, exactly. Not unless...
Marty wasn't there yet.
The-
So nothing has changed time-wise.
Well, yeah, I know what you mean. There is a bit of a plot hole there. The only way around it is that perhaps she, for some other reason, Doc was out at the ravine that day and saved her life, but in a timeline without Marty. But yeah, it's convoluted and it is a bit of a plot hole.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, it's...
to be fair to the Back to the Future trilogy, it's pretty tight in terms of time travel. See, other time travel series, like even Doctor Who, the Terminator, there is a lot of sort of playing loose and fast with it all. So there is, I would say the Terminator series especially, which is a complete mess. But back, I think it's because there only is 3 Back to the Future films, So it's pretty tight.
Yeah, and like I said, we're not nitpicking that, but that's kind of a big.
We are nitpicking.
Well, maybe. I do like all the Western nods with the spittoons. And I do like when they walk in the bar where you've got, what's his name, Dub Taylor, Pat Bertram, and Harry Carey Jr.
Yes, they're old Western actors.
All Western actors always play town folks or town drunks.
Yeah.
You can even recognize their voices.
Yeah.
And I always like that. And when the gang comes in and he's like, Nike. Oh my God, what kind of Asian talk is that? When he's wearing his Nikes.
Yeah. Yeah. I like whenever Marty says, "Oh, you're Mad Dog Tannen," and he goes, "No, he hates that name," and they're all backing off. And he basically goes, "Dance, dance," and Marty starts doing the moonwalk.
The moonwalk is so stupid.
And then he sort of he goes, "Well, we've got a new town hall. Let's celebrate it with a hanging." It's quite a good scene.
I do like the intro between them two, and I do think the scenes with them two really work.
Yes. You mean with Doc?
I do like. No, between Buford and Marty.
Oh yeah, it's a really good scene.
And all the scenes with them, and we referenced this in part 2 when he has to do the shootout with Buford. He copies what happened in the Clint Eastwood film. What one would they copy?
It was Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars, when he puts the cast iron.
Yes, as a bulletproof vest, basically.
As a bulletproof vest, which is what Clint did in the film. And they planted that seed in the second one, so we knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And so, again, I like that. It's kind of funny because you can kind of always see when something's coming, but you got to wait till the next film until it's used again.
Well, I'm going to nitpick here. See, in the second film, we catch an old photo of Buford Tannen, and it's a different look than the one we see in this film. And again, I was reading up on that, and apparently that was down to, it was an early sort of test screen of Buford that you used in the second one, but they did change it for the third one.
Why? What do you look like?
Just slightly. I mean, it's obviously the same actor, but there is just a slightly different sort of look and sort of outfitty type thing,
There's a lot. Remember, we referenced in part 2 where he can use a gun?
Yes.
He's playing the video game.
Yes.
With Elijah Wood in that scene.
Yeah, that comes up as well.
Yeah, in this one, he goes to that little shoot arcade game.
Yeah.
And he gets everything. He goes, "Where'd you learn to shoot like that?"
Yeah.
He's like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, they don't know what he's talking about.
I know. Well, U.S. people would understand the 7-Eleven joke.
No, I don't. But people in the West wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of the charm of it.
Yeah.
And then he runs into Strickland. He goes, "Remember the word discipline."
Yes.
Which is the word he uses it.
Yeah.
Constantly at Marty through the franchise.
Yeah. But again, Strickland, Marshall Strickland doesn't use the word slacker because I don't think that would have been a word back then. Although apparently dude is, but
I'm pretty sure I'm 97% that it's dude.
Yeah. It does sound like it.
I do like when he gets into a fight with Marty Buford, and they're trying to stage. Okay, when do you want to meet? We're gonna meet at like 7 a.m. whatever it is. We're gonna meet, and we're gonna have ourselves a good old gunfight.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow." And then it's fun. The guy whispers to him, "We have a robber. We got to rob the train."
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay. How about Sunday? Oh no, we gotta. Okay, Mondays. Monday, okay?
Yeah. I like it goes 7 o'clock. I like to do my killing before breakfast. Yeah.
But again, there's not much to talk about here because the rest of the film, once you kind of reintroduce to Leah Thompson and Seamus and Biff again, or Buford that is, and all the other reoccurring characters.
Yeah.
You kind of left in this lull part, and it's really about Doc and Claire.
Well, although the finale is, whenever they're doing the whole train thing and stuff, it is pretty tense, especially when compared to sort of most films out there. Even at the time, it's nowhere near as tense, and the stakes aren't nowhere near as high as the original film in the series.
Yeah. I just think, I don't know. I just think it doesn't play out as, because in this one they need to get to the train, get to the DeLorean, get into the DeLorean, and they have to but first they have to take over the train.
Yes.
And then take the caboose, disconnect the caboose left because it needs less weight.
Yeah.
And then utilize that.
Yeah.
I really think it would have been better if most of this film took place on the train. And it has to deal with them actually taking over the train. It was way too easy for them to take over the train.
Yeah, they had it done in seconds. It was basically... basically, there's a joke where the guy goes, is this a hold-up? And Doc goes, no, it's a science experiment. And that's it. Basically, your man just gives up the train.
You know, you have the showdown with Buford, which we talked about, where Marty did the Clint Eastwood.
Yes.
And of course, he falls in the manure, which you have to have. He always falls in manure.
Yeah.
But
I hate manure.
The problem is the whole Buford and the gang should have it would have been really good if Buford was on that train with them.
Totally. And hindering
And that's where the finale should have been, between them two.
Yeah, Buford and his gang trying to stop, trying to get at, obviously they don't know about time travel, but trying to stop Marty and Doc, or trying to get at them to kill them type thing. So they've that to deal with, plus get the DeLorean up to 88 mile an hour by getting it pushed by the train, instead of the stupid Doc, Emmett. It was just, yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then you had Claire, who takes the horse to go, because she thinks he's nuts because he confesses what they're trying to do.
Yes.
And then she all of a sudden believes him all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah.
Doesn't make
Because
any
she
sense.
sees the fucking, basically the mock-up he's done of, time machine,
Well, it's a fucking piece of wood. I don't think anybody...
Yeah.
But...
Yeah.
Yeah, so she just takes the horse and starts racing for the train, which is, again, she should have been on that train. She should have been going home, like leaving town or something. And then she'd be on the train
as a
passenger.
Yeah.
That would have been a better way to go.
Yeah, I remember at the time, watching it at the time as a kid, being pissed off that Doc didn't get to go back to 1985 with Marty, and he flew off with her on the hoverboard, to live happily ever after with their creepy kids that pop up later in the train time machine, that look like something out of Village of the Damned. But yeah, it's just a bit. Yeah, I remember at the time being annoyed because, again, for me, Back to the Future, it's all about. There's a brilliant supporting cast, a stellar supporting cast. But to me, it's ultimately about Marty and Doc getting into crazy adventures in a time machine, a DeLorean.
Yeah.
By the way, here's a bit of trivia for you. A completely useless trivia for you and all the listeners. But DeLoreans were actually made in Northern Ireland, and I ended up working in the DeLorean factory, but not whenever it was the DeLorean factory. It was at the factory in Dunbarry, and it was later taken over by Bombardier Shorts aircraft manufacturers. And I worked in it when it was Bombardier Shorts, but it was still the same factory where the DeLoreans were made. So there you go. Told you it was useless.
Yeah. Well, you got one part of that statement right. Yeah. So this whole, like I said, I do think it is quite tenseful. I'm gonna be blunt with you, Claire. When Claire shows up with Emmett, with going to Doc,
Emmett,
I was like, oh yeah, her screaming, and I was like, it kind of took it out for a little bit for me.
Same.
I just want to focus on Doc and Marty. That's the way it's always been for the other two.
Yeah.
We don't need anybody else here.
Our character feels like an imposter to the story.
Yeah, she was. You know how they were just written in.
Yeah.
She was just written in.
Yeah.
So.
I get that they want to give Christopher Lloyd more to do and more of a, to do acting wise and stuff, and his character more of an arc, but at the same time, didn't work for me.
So when they I do like when he gets back and the DeLorean's on the train tracks, and then the train comes and destroys the DeLorean. I do like that.
Eastwood Ravine, it's now named as well, which is a nice wee touch. Eastwood Ravine,
that's right. That's right, because he went off the ravine.
And everyone back in Hill Valley in 1885 would have thought Clint Eastwood was dead. He went off the ravine, Because I would have wondered what happened to Clint Eastwood.
When they after the train after he gets hit with the DeLorean, he goes back to Lion Estates.
Yes.
And there's Biff being a dork again.
Yeah.
Hey Marty, you look like a real cowboy. he plays all the characters. All the different characters he's got to play. The badass, the dork, the idiot. He just plays.
Oh, he's very,
Biff.
very good.
Whatever direction he's given, okay, this is the Biff we're playing this time.
Yeah.
He plays it so well.
Middle-aged Biff. And even in the first one where there's, at the start, there's tough nut asshole middle-aged Biff,
Yeah, I mean...
Where he's brilliant George.
McFly, hello. I do like we see Needles again.
Yes.
Which is played by Flea for the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And then he goes, what are you, chicken? And he was going to race him, but he decides not to.
Yeah, so he doesn't have the accident where it ruins his music career.
Yep. So that all comes full circle. So he got his arc.
Yes.
So pretty much all characters got their arc.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yes. It's all wrapped up well, to be fair.
It does wrap up well. I do like when he goes back to the train where the DeLorean's still in pieces. Like, nobody has picked up the pieces here. Nobody has seen this train wreck.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's questioned what all this sort of flux capacitor is and stuff, and
But yeah, they come back and he's in this cool, all decked out, very very Jules Verne kind of train.
Yes.
And he's got two kids, really.
Village of the Damned. Yeah, the Village of the Damned kids. Yep.
Yeah, they got the bowl cuts.
Yeah.
They look like little Damien children.
Yeah, horror film kids, Village of the Damned kids. Yeah.
And then he gives him the frame picture of him and Doc by the clock.
Yeah, yeah. And then he flies off in the time machine train.
Yeah. And the franchise is over.
Yeah. I'm glad they've never remade this, and I really hope they never do. But they probably will,
Well, I don't see it happening, to be honest with you. I'm surprised they never tried, and I'm sure they've been bugged about it. This would probably make a good TV series.
There was a cartoon series?
Yeah, but I'm talking about something good. Because TV's gotten a lot better now.
Yeah.
So I think they could do a nice job with, different adventures and stuff. But again, the only problem, you can't do Back to the Future, not because you can't redo it, it's because you can't replace Michael J. Fox.
Yeah. Or Christopher Lloyd, really. Yeah.
And even if you give him different characters, still won't work.
Yeah, and George McFly as well. That they wisely don't replace George McFly with a different actor. Although they do, but it's just a sort of cameo stand-in in the second one, because who could be as good as Crispin Glover in the original?
Yeah, so it's definitely a franchise that I know somebody's knocking on Zemeckis' door every day. But yeah, I don't think they'll touch it.
When they pass, when the time eventually comes and Zemeckis and Bob Gale have passed, I bet you there is a remake.
I bet you there isn't. I think it's going to be in their will.
I hope so. I really hope they do put it in their will.
They don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, there's got to. They probably have that ironclad.
Like their estate or their family or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, they own the rights.
Unless their family just sells them out.
Yeah. Some shithead.
Hey, Dad's dead now. Hey, who wants Back to the Future for billions of dollars?
Yeah. And then they'll do a Disney Star Wars on it.
Hey, do you hear that rumor that Disney wants to dump Marvel?
They want to what? Sorry.
Dump Marvel.
Right. Well, Marvel's down on its feet anyway. I think it's run its course and then some. But once Disney seem to be in a complete and utter mess at the moment. Again,
they need to get rid of Lucasfilm, and they need to get rid of Marvel if they want to kind of revamp again.
Right.
And start doing edgier stuff. They did some good edgier stuff.
Disney and edgy are two words that don't go together.
Yeah, no, that's not true, because Disney had some balls in the late 70s. They started putting out adult kind of. They were known as the animated company.
Yeah.
So they wanted to do more, live action.
Yes.
And they did a couple of really good films I really enjoyed. Watcher in the Woods, Something Wicked This Way Comes.
Yeah, I remember those. Yeah.
Black Hole.
Yeah.
So, and then they created Hollywood Pictures and Touchstone Pictures.
Yeah.
Those are all so they could do R-rated material.
Yeah.
So they wanted to compete with all the big boys because animation was just a one-trick pony for them. And then so they went that direction. Disney was smart. Young Disney. I mean, well,
Not at the
80s
moment, they're
Disney. Not at the moment. They're trying to they're biting off more than they can chew, and they're trying to buy out everything.
Yeah,
and it's just not working. And they're making bad decisions. What should go on video on demand? What should go in the theaters? I'll give you a perfect fucking example. Fox, who's owned by fucking Disney, put a movie, the little movie that won. It's up for an Academy Award. One of the most praised films of last year, which was a movie called Prey, which we talked about. And it is brilliant, and I would have loved to have seen that on the big screen. I would have paid to see that on the big screen easily. It's a big screen film, but no, they just put it on video and chucked it in there, and it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I just don't know. No, we're going to concentrate in resurrecting Luke Skywalker or whatever. It's like,
I'm just bored to the back teeth of modern mainstream cinema and the whole Marvel. All of these owned by it just bores the life out of me. Marvel, Star Wars and stuff. I'm just sick to the back teeth of it. And I haven't even seen most of them. All these multiple TV series. I'm just sick of, it's complete. It just appears to me to be complete overkill. And, back when we were growing up, things like Indiana Jones films, Star Wars films, they were massive events. These days, it's like every week, new Star Wars series, new Marvel series. It's just like, it's just that they've just run them all completely into the ground.
Yeah, they shot themselves in the foot. So
yeah,
and the smart one in this group was Sony.
Yeah,
who owned Columbia Pictures. They said, you're not touching Disney. You will never get our Spider-Man property.
Good on them.
And Columbia, guess what? They've maintained the best of the franchise, which had been the Spider-Mans.
Yes.
And they've kept so Columbia and Sony, be wise. Keep your Spider-Man in your place, and hopefully you can get some of the other Marvel property from Disney now. That's the way you should do it, because I think if anyone can be competent enough to handle Marvel, I think Sony would be the guys to give it to.
And there's talk now as well. There's rumors that Elon Musk is going to be banning them over Disney.
Oh fuck no!
There is talk of that.
I know, but I don't want him. He's nuts. Look at that job.
Well, he's not really a sort of film guy, but he's not known for his films. But yeah, who knows? To be honest, I checked out with Disney like when I was a kid. To me, my sisters watched like classic Disney films, like Sleeping Beauty, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, all that there, and Mary Poppins and all that there. So to me, Disney was never my thing. So I say I checked out as a kid. I was never checked in with Disney.
No, I always followed them. I've always watched the Disney. They always said Sunday night movies were always a Disney film on ABC. And so I've always been a Disney kid.
Even as a kid, I watched like proper like fucking films for kids, like Hellraiser and the Evil Dead and Freddy Krueger.
And that's why there's a war. That's why you're being watched by every the FBI, CIA.
And then later on, when I got a bit older, I was voted by my classmates as classmate most likely to turn out as a serial killer.
Yeah, it all makes sense. All makes sense.
And a cannibal.
Wow. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up Back to the Future. It's been a fun retrospective seeing Marty McFly and the gang again. We are going to give you a little treat. We're going to take a little break, and we're going to give you. That's right. We've talked Stallone. We've talked Dolph Lundgren. We've talked Van Damme. We've talked Arnold, but we haven't talked Steven Seagal. Oh boy!
And we'll say we've got a treat. When Ciaran says we've got a treat lined up for you, you can, there's two ways of looking at that. If you mind.
Yeah, it's either go fuck yourselves or go fuck yourselves.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, we're gonna do his first outing, a movie called Above the Law. So, yeah. And then we jump back into a retrospective, and we've been promising you for a while now, and it's finally happening, the Nightmare on Elm Streets.
Ooh.
Now, the Nightmare on Elm Streets are a long franchise, kind of like what we did with the Friday 13th. We're going to pepper in 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 as one podcast. So you get 2 podcasts for the price of 1, I guess you can say. So it should be a fun one to do. The only one we're not going to be doing in that retrospective will be Freddy vs. Jason. We'll have a quick chat about it, but we've already talked about that with the Friday 13th retrospective. So there you have it. Next up, Above the Law, and then Nightmare on Elm Street. You guys take care of yourselves. Give us a shout. And let us know if he does say dude. I'm pretty sure it's dude.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. You can get us at CitizenFrame_podcast on Instagram and, of course, Facebook. We're out of here. Have a good night.